Talk about that a little bit. You're saying you want someone who, or the constituents in District 12 want someone who's delivering progress, not fringe and extremist. When you say those types of things, do you think Congresswoman Summer Lee is fringe and extremist in the Democratic Party and is not delivering on promises?
I mean, look, an example of this would be, when we in July, when we were when there was a vote to, increase the debt ceiling. We had a congresswoman here, our representative, who decided to vote against the Biden administration. To me, that sends a message that you are undermining the president and that you're not standing with what working class families in this region need. I think most recently, when we look at what's going on tragically in Israel, I mean, the handling of that situation has been, an example of spreading of misinformation, calling for things that are directly in contrast with what people want here in this community, not being willing to listen and empathize with the pain of what people are in our community, in our district, are going through, especially because we have this historic Jewish population. I mean, I'm sitting right here in our campaign headquarters in the heart of Squirrel Hill. Western Pennsylvania really prides itself in somebody who's willing to show up, be present, listen, and empathize. And I think that when you're unable to do that, and on top of that, you spread misinformation and say things that stoke anti-Semitism in the worst parts of human nature, that is fringe, that is extreme.
Are you saying Summer Lee is spreading misinformation?
So there was actually a tweet that went out from Congresswoman Lee's account in which there was a hospital that was bombed in Gaza, and the Israeli IDF, she had said that the Israeli IDF was responsible for it. President Biden had confirmed that that was not the case, and that tweet was kept up for quite some time. And so, my response to that is, as a sitting member of the U.S. House of Representatives, you have a responsibility to take in information, sit with it, get a full picture, and then respond. When you are being reactive, that showcases a lack of leadership. To me, that showcases that you are out of touch, and that's unacceptable.
She has called for a ceasefire in Gaza repeatedly. On October 7th, you put out a statement on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying Israel's our steadfast ally. So is calling for a ceasefire something that you agree with?
I do not agree with calling for a ceasefire. I think it's absolutely critical that we focus on bringing home hostages. All of those individuals that are being impacted by this deserve to be reunited with their loved ones. And we need to make sure that we keep that as our focus.
Many in the Democratic Party have been calling for a ceasefire. So what do you think our strategy with Israel going forward should be? Unequivocally standing with Israel, humanitarian pauses in Gaza. You don't think a total ceasefire. So what is the pathway forward here?
I think the Biden administration has done a phenomenal job of handling this very sort of nuanced situation. What I'm saying is that it's a complicated crisis that we're dealing with. Hamas is a terrorist organization that has perpetrated these horrific acts of violence against innocent individuals, Americans included. And so, making sure that we are advocating for humanitarian pauses, that aid is reaching innocent Palestinians in Gaza, and that we're taking the necessary actions and steps to ensure that we minimize loss of life is absolutely critical. We simultaneously also need to recognize that it's critical that we bring home the hostages that are being held and are reunited with their families.